Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolfnest Property Management, and today we're doing the second part of tips for new rental property owners. So if you haven't checked out number one, make sure you do that. But here is the follow-up or part two of that article. So the first thing that we talked about in tips for new property rental managers, I guess you can call it, is that you want to be able to handle things quickly. You need to have almost a vast tool belt to be able to manage that effectively. So again, here's just some helpful tips that you want to make sure that you're utilizing when you are a DIY property owner. So first thing is responding to property maintenance requests quickly or promptly. Now, it's very important early on in that relationship with the tenant for you guys to have a clear understanding of what is a owner wear and tear type of repair, or what are things that is really the tenant responsibility. Now, bottom line, when a tenant moves into the property, if everything's in working order, especially like light bulbs, if they go out, that's not your responsibility to replace those. But rather than just pushing off that request or not responding, make sure that you do and really lay out those guidelines. Also, if they have something that happens, let's say, the furnace goes out in the winter or the AC unit goes out in the summer, those are things that really fall under the Utah Fit Premises Act or a 3-day issue. So you want to make sure that you're being responsive to those as well. Next one is regular inspections of the property. I always like doing a drive-by at least once or twice every quarter, just so you can kind of get some interior or exterior, views of the home, making sure they're maintaining the yard, weeds, all of that. Now, as far as interior inspections, this really depends on the tenant. If they are paying on time, they're not having a lot of maintenance requests or nuisance issues, you may be able to get away with, one inspection during the term of a 12-month lease, or maybe semi-annually, maybe month 4 at month 10. Regular inspections are a great way to catch potential maintenance or issues that the tenant is not aware of. So looking at plumbing, look at the appliances, making sure everything is in working order. But again, you don't want to do too many inspections because the tenant will probably not renew that lease if they feel like you're being invasive. Next one is learn the rules and regulations. Whether this is your first property or you have 10 properties, you want to make sure that you are familiar with Utah Fit Premises Act, Utah Fair Housing laws, and really taking a good landlord certification class is a great way to get a crash course in those things so that you know that you're not going to be sued by a tenant for discrimination or a lot of the other rules and regulations you may not be aware of that you're not abiding by. Next one is insure your rental property. I talked to a lot of clients that have actually not transitioned their policy into a landlord or renter policy. Now, if you have a rental property and it's still under a primary residence or you occupying the property, and if something catastrophic happens, like it catches on fire or a tree falls on it, whatever the situation may be, typically insurance companies are going to try to get out of any claim or pay whenever they have to. So one thing that if they catch is that you're renting this property and it is not under a landlord policy, odds are they're probably not going to cover it. So just make sure that you have updated your insurance policy to reflect that. And lastly, eviction. If you have a headache tenant that is just not paying rent, you want to make sure that you employ an eviction attorney, someone that's really accredited to do this. Not only will this save you money in the long run, they're going to have all the documentation, the notice postings, the timing to make sure that you do it the right way. There's nothing worse than talking to clients who have started the eviction process, but come to find out they have not done it really following the procedures that you need to do in order to move forward with that eviction, and they really are starting all over again on that new clock. So having an eviction attorney, if it comes to that, they're going to be worth their weight in gold. So again, being a property owner, there's a lot of advantages to it, the passive income, building wealth, but there's a lot of things that you want to make sure that you're doing right. So if you want to discuss any of these topics or discuss your portfolio, I'd love to see if our management can be a great fit for your needs. So there's my phone number, also our website. Hop on there, take a look, and hope to hear from you soon. Thanks.